The CFPB is a government organisation that started collecting consumer complaints in 2011. Apparently, a lot of people have something not so nice to say about financial institutions, with more than 3.5 million complaints about those services being housed in its consumer complaint database. I took a look at their data together with that of various consumer finance websites, and having collated everything, here are the 5 most hated banks in America. Kicking us off at number 5, US Bank. Headquartered in Minneapolis, US Bank is the 5th largest bank in the country and has actually been around since 1863. The bank provides the usual financial services, including general banking, mortgages and investments. US Bank has not been left behind, though, in the world of scandals and banks doing the wrong thing. The bank was recently fined $37.5 million by several regulators because its employees had illegally accessed client information and opened fake savings and checking accounts, along with numerous credit cards without the knowledge or consent of clients. The bank was also in hot water for freezing access to hundreds of thousands of prepaid debit cards used to distribute unemployment insurance benefits during the COVID-19 pandemic. Over the past 25 years, the company has paid out over $1 trillion in settlements and penalties for lawsuits ranging from violations of consumer protection laws, anti-money laundering laws, employment-related offences, and banking violations. Complaints about the company for the last 3 years are more than 21,000. On to number 4, and it's the bank with all the numbers, Fifth Third Bank. Established in 1858, this Cincinnati-based bank operates in 11 states and has over 1,000 branches. It's a small player when compared to most on this list, but that hasn't stopped it from receiving its fair share of complaints, including 500 one-star reviews from Consumer Affairs and over 1,200 formal complaints to the CFPB. Complaints typically centre around deceptive marketing practices, hidden fees, long hold times on deposits, and poor customer service. The bank settled with a $20 million fine last year for illegally charging customers for unnecessary auto insurance policies. It's estimated the practice harmed more than 35,000 customers and resulted in vehicle repossession for more than 1,000 of them. They were also warned to clean up these broken business practices or else face further consequences. Our number 3 bank is the Bank of America. Headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, B of A is the 2nd largest bank in the country. It generates 90% of its revenue from its domestic market through services like banking, investments, and lending services together with wealth management. Now, if you're looking for a national bank with the most complaints overall, Bank of America tops the list. Now, like most national banks, Bank of America simply has more customers, which means more things could potentially go wrong. But Bank of America is also facing $250 million in fines over alleged double-dipping schemes, withholding credit card rewards and creating unauthorized accounts. In 2010, the federal government sued the bank for defrauding several hospitals, schools, and government organizations. This was through illegal investments of proceeds from sales of municipal bonds, and in the last 3 years, there's been over 33,000 complaints about various services from the Bank of America. The institution is rated as the most hated bank in 9 separate states. Complaints include poor customer service, long hold times, and hidden fees. The runner-up for the most hated bank in the country is Citibank. Citibank is one of the big 4 banks in the US, and as the banking subsidiary of New York-based Citigroup, Citibank is known for much more than credit cards. Unfortunately, not all of it is positive. The company has faced countless lawsuits and complaints, which include delays in opening new accounts, inaccurate account statements, delays in getting auto or home loans, unavailability of insurance or investment services, poor customer service, allocation of payments to the wrong accounts, and unfair treatment of credit card borrowers hurt by the coronavirus recession. That's a long list. Citi also sees many complaints in relation to its costly monthly fees and lower than average interest rates. In 2012, Citibank, together with 4 other banks, was fined $26 billion in a historic settlement in the US. The settlement was dubbed the National Mortgage Settlement and is the second largest settlement in history. So who wins the title of the most hated bank in the country? It's none other than the old stagecoach itself, Wells Fargo. Headquartered in San Francisco, the financial institution is the 4th largest bank in the country when ranked by total assets, market cap, and bank deposits. Wells Fargo earning the top position on this list of most hated banks may not come as much of a surprise to many who are quite aware of the company's checkered history. With the loss of its Better Business Bureau accreditation in 2016, consumers have every right to be concerned with what continues to be a troubled organisation. In 2018, the Federal Reserve barred the company from growing its trillion-dollar asset base because of an account fraud scandal. The company has faced many litigations for its gross misconduct, from embezzlement scandals, charging people of colour higher fees, charging clients excessive overdraft fees, violating credit card laws, discrimination against African Americans, gender discrimination, and the infamous creating fake accounts scandal, which the CEO at the time went on to blame lower-level employees, and it ended up costing the bank $1.7 billion for an issue that affected over 16 million customer accounts. The CFPB has received over 25,000 complaints about the bank since 2019. Nearly 11,000 formal complaints were filed in 2022 alone. Wells Fargo is still huge and still in business, but it struggles with servicing customers well and is therefore considered the most hated bank in the country. So who should you bank with? Based on this data alone, one bank not even in the top 10 for most hated financial institution is the country's largest, JP Morgan Chase. With over 4,700 branches and a growing network across the country, the lack of complaints tells me they're doing something right. Now, don't take this as an endorsement. I've never had anything to do with them, but it's an interesting observation when you look at the data. The banks on our list have earned their spot for a reason. They've consistently demonstrated a disregard for their customers' well-being, a lack of transparency, and a willingness to engage in questionable practices. Whether it's exorbitant fees, poor customer service, or controversial investments, these banks and the management that they employ have failed to meet the standards that we expect from our financial institutions. It's time for us to take a stand and demand better. I'll catch you next time on From Down Under to Down South. Hooroo, mateys.